Welcome back to the Prosperous Life Podcast. This is Braiden Belnap. Thank you so much for each of you that consistently show up on a week-to-week basis. I really do appreciate it. Your commitment to your transformation is really helping this world transform. It starts with one person at a time. Now, for you guys that are brand new, thank you so much for showing up. I hope you find value into this podcast. And if you do, I'd love you to reach out to me at Braiden Belnap on social media. Now, today, we're talking all about self-made confidence. Now, the reason I made it and titled it Self-Made Confidence is because confidence is self-made. It's a day-to-day process. Us humans are not born with confidence. Confidence is something that is developed day to day and over time. The most confident people that you've seen at some point in their life were most likely not confident. It's a day-to-day process. It truly is. Confidence is something that you can develop techniques and tools to be more confident, of course, although it is self-made. You don't just have a gene pool that you are fully confident in. So let's make you to have self-made confidence. Now, self-made confidence is based upon the commitments that we make to ourselves and others and how well we follow through upon them. At some point, my most low time in my life was when I was lying to myself, when I was lying to the people around me, when I was lying to the world, when I was lying to God. When you're lying to yourself, you're not following through on your commitments, when you're lying to others, your confidence is just naturally going to be low. Now, on the flip side of that, when you're naturally following through on your commitments to yourself, your family, your friends, the world, God, your confidence is going to be extremely high. You're going to be walking around with confidence. Your head's going to be bobbing. You're going to know that you are confident. So, why is not everybody there? It's because the good things in life we have to work for. Confidence is a good thing. It's hard work. You have to just genuinely commit to showing up 100% moment to moment to be your best self. And it's not necessarily easy, but it's one of the best things and best gifts you could give to yourself. When you're confident, you show up so much more stronger for your family, and that's the person that they need. So yeah, today, this is really for you, whether you lie to yourself consistently or your family or the world for that matter, or whether you keep 100% of your promises, because either way, this will solidify what's important in this world. Now, as we go through this podcast, it's important to know that it's a problem that we lack confidence. Culturally, we genuinely have a lack of confidence. And the way somebody treats themselves is the way they're going to treat others. So if we have a culture of people not treating themselves right, people not following through for themselves, we're going to naturally have a culture that doesn't show up for each other. That's the last thing what we talk about in this podcast is community. Community is huge in confidence building. And if we're not showing up for ourselves, we don't show up for our community, and that's our culture, we as a community just simply don't have a strong confidence level. So if we, the people that are listening to this, build our confidence, we inspire and influence our friends, our family to have strong confidence and follow through. Naturally, our communities in this country are going to become better. So we have a strong opportunity here to create self-made confidence in ourselves and others. And that's exactly what we need in this world. So let's start off by talking all about small goals. Small goals is one of the fundamental things of moving forward in this life. The reason being is because when we create and we achieve small goals, big goals are going to be accomplished. When we win in moments, big moments will happen. When we win in this moment, Our next moment will most likely be a win. The problem is people are reaching for these huge goals and not breaking them up into small goals, which generally leaves them to fall short, which leads them to have low confidence, which then leads them to a couple of years of stopping setting goals, stop dreaming, and then they have kids and they tell them not to dream, not to set goals, and it's a consistent generational issue. We don't want to do that. We have an opportunity to take our big life vision, break it up into current, present goals, break those down to action steps. That way we get to our life vision that is big. We want to dream big. We just want to break it down into smaller steps. So as you go through this, what is a small goal? Create a life vision. What do you want to create in your life? Relationships, finances, career, business, you name it. What is it? If you want to make $300,000 a year, great. Is that going to take a year, 2 years, 3 years? What is it going to be? Let's break that up into a couple of smaller goals. Let's say this goal is to get to the next promotion. That's our next goal. We want to go from tier 1 in our job to tier 2. Okay, we're then going to break that up into smaller actionable steps. When we take action on those actionable steps, it's going to lead us to getting that promotion to tier 2. And at some point, we are going to make that $300,000 a year. Now, most people, when they set a goal, they just set a goal to make $300,000 a year. They disregard the smaller goal to getting the promotion, and they disregard the actionable steps, which generally leads them to falling short. This breeds low confidence. This breeds people not achieving their goals, not achieving their life vision, not achieving their desire for the impact they want to make, and their destiny for life. We don't want that. So today we want to set the small goals. We also want to understand and bring in that life is a journey. When we set these big goals, that doesn't mean we go from making $0 to $300,000 tomorrow. This is a journey. A journey of 1,000 steps begins with a single step. We want to start with a single step at a time, and those are the actionable steps. If you commit to those actionable steps, you'll achieve those goals again, which will soon lead to 1,000 steps or 1,000 miles. And then those 1,000 miles is your life vision. So let's win there. The other question I have for you is, this life vision of yours, is this something that you see as a forever thing? Do you want forever financial freedom, or do you want it now? Because if you see it as a forever thing, you're going to be around for quite a while. Why do we need it now? The good things that come in life take time. The good things in career, business, relationships. A solid business that is very reputable, brings in a lot of income, has been growing over time. Some of the most legendary businesses, people, personal brands have been developed over time. So why are we looking at this as a quarter, a year? Let's look at this in a lifetime. What can you achieve in the long term? And let's go with that. Because then I know if you consistently show up in those actionable steps, you will achieve great success. As long as we look at this as a 1,000-mile process. As long as you really want to have this in your life forever. Now, small promises. This is even smaller than goals. Now, when you have small promises and you keep your promises again to yourself and others, it's going to breed massive confidence. When you're loyal, you keep your word. Whether you say I promise or you handshake, you just know you keep your word. When you can look at somebody, say I'm going to do this, and you go out and do it, no questions asked, no matter how small or how big it is, you're going to breed great confidence. The problem is that people make promises that they can't keep. People will make a promise when they know they can't keep it. And guess what? That creates you to have low confidence. And that creates the person that you made that promise to not have confidence in you, in your relationship. Which even then deteriorates your confidence that much more. So let's start with the small promises. If you can't keep a promise, don't make it. If somebody asks you to do something, instead of saying, yes, I will do that, knowing you can't, just be straight up honest with them. If I come and ask somebody to, hey, can you get this done to me by Friday? I would rather somebody say, hey, I can do that for you, although I'm going to need X amount of time in order to get that done. Is that okay with you? I would prefer that conversation over, I'll have it to you by Friday and it's still not being done. That gives me the confidence that somebody's really thinking about the outcome, the process, and they're committed to me, our relationship, just as much as I am. And I know you watching this, you guys can agree with that. I mean, I can't speak for you all, but thinking about that, who doesn't want pure honesty? Who doesn't want somebody to follow through? And that's huge to yourself and others. If you promise yourself a deadline and you commit to it and you get that done, you will have great confidence in yourself. Now recognize that most people overlook these small things. Yet these small things are the most important things in your life. Small things make up our life. Every moment creates our life. If you make your promises and you keep them every moment, you'll live a pretty prosperous life. A really extraordinary prosperous life, in fact. It's the times when people don't show up for themselves 100% moment to moment as their best self, where they deteriorate confidence, the community deteriorates confidence, which leads to lack of goals, lack of growth, lack of purpose. I can go on and on. So the issue with that is great beyond just yourself. It affects an entire community. So for you, when you keep these small goals, your confidence builds, it builds a community, and it builds the world. And that's what we need today. We need more leaders. So let's make those small promises and not overlook them. So start small. If you're needing to start somewhere, let's just start small. Instead of committing 30 minutes of reading, which I strongly recommend on a daily basis, let's start with 5 minutes. Instead of committing 30 minutes of working out, if you've never worked out before, which I strongly recommend on a daily basis, let's start with 5 minutes. Instead of committing 30 minutes of talking to somebody every single day, like a spouse, commit 5 minutes. Instead of telling your spouse, I love you, cuddling, having sex with them, and doing all the lovey-dovey things that you did in the beginning, if your relationship has dwindled over time, commit to holding hands. If you're introverted, you haven't built a lot of relationships. Instead of committing to go to a party, commit to one conversation. You see how these small promises can make such a dramatic difference in your life? We don't need to be all or nothing mindseted here. We can break this down to the smallest piece. And if we start small, things will last longer. When you build a habit that in a slower time frame, it'll stay longer in your life. The immediate transformations don't last quite as long. So let's start small in those promises. Same thing with people. Maybe they're asking you to do the biggest thing. Maybe you can say, hey, I can't commit to that right now, but I can start this and I will be able to get to that by doing X, Y, and Z. Start small with yourself and others. Because that small step, one step at a time, one promise at a time, is going to lead to those bigger promises. Like you start 5-minute reading now, and then you develop 30-minute reading in like a month, 2 months. Small promises make big promises. When you make those and you follow through on that small promise, Sooner or later, you'll be able to make the big promise and follow through. And you'll continue to have that confidence where you walk with your head bobbling because you know how confident and amazing you truly are. Do you recognize that every extraordinary thing started small? Amazon started with him being in this small office with a cardboard sign that said Amazon.com that was spray painted on, and now it's the biggest company in America. Do you understand that how small that was? Most people aren't even willing to get started when they may not even recognize that they could be the next Amazon. How about Google? You really think they just all of a sudden became the highest search engine in the world? How about YouTube? YouTube used to be extremely small. How about Apple when you used to buy $1 a song? Do you understand that some of the biggest things in the world started to be so small? And it took one person to transform the world. Elon Musk said, not quoted for quote, but you'll make money based upon how big the problem you solve. And that goes for yourself, and the payment in my mind right now is meaning confidence. So if you're solving big problems in your life, big problems in your community, your confidence is going to be huge. If you're solving small problems, your confidence is going to lack. Now again, if we start small and we begin to develop how big these problems we solve, your confidence is going to grow higher and higher and higher. And at some point, you're going to be well known to yourself that you're confident. So start small. Be willing to start small. When you saw Amazon.com in the olden days, if you asked to invest in them, a lot of people said no. Now a lot of people would have said yes, obviously. Be willing to bet on yourself. If there's one person in this world you should bet on and invest in, it's you. Invest in your skill. Invest your time and your money resources into you. That is what's going to transform your life. Now, as you grow your confidence, you're going to begin to treat yourself better, which is going to you'll begin to treat others better. Community is one of the most important things to confidence. A single wolf, isn't always the most confident once he's up against a pack of wolves. The pack of wolves becomes very confident. So walk with people. Walk with people that want to go far. The problem is some of these people out in this world want to go so fast that they leave their family, their friends, their loved ones behind. And they go so quickly, yet they only go so far. Now, the people that intend to go far and have things last forever and they develop a community around them, they go far. They get to the top with people they love and care about. And I'm not saying that you need to go develop the 10 closest relationships right now. It just takes one conversation at a time. So whether you're introverted or extroverted, that doesn't matter. It's asking one person out to coffee that you would like to rekindle a relationship or make a relationship or just make a relationship stronger. Or it's asking them to go to dinner, to go play a game. If you're in a relationship, asking double other couples to go and hang out with you. Develop your community. A friendship, one that lasts an entire lifetime, could be developed by one smile, one wave, one hello, one compliment. Again, like the small goals and small promises, the small things in a relationship will add up to be so much. People will forget what you say, what you do. They will never forget how you make them feel. And that is something that my mom has taught me since I was born. That is ingrained into me. So if you begin to make people feel good, one person at a time, your face, your smile will be known. And a community will begin to grow around you. A community that people know you make them feel good. And you become reputable to make the difference that you want to in this world. And your confidence grows extremely high when you have people around you that look at you as a leader. The point isn't to be seen as a leader, it's to lead at the bottom, at the very bottom, when you're not even seen as a leader. Because just because you're a high CEO or a high executive doesn't mean you're a leader. You may be an executive, you may have the ability to fire or have control. That doesn't mean you're a leader. A person that's a leader can be at the very bottom of a company. They can be a very bottom CEO. They can be a very beginner entrepreneur. Develop your community now. Now, wherever you go, start to engage in conversation. If you're standing in line at Walmart, if you're on vacation, if you're whatever the case, just start to ask people, what's your name? What's your family like? What do you do for a living? Do you have kids? Do you have a wife? Ask them about them, get to know them, and make an impact. When you engage in conversations, people will remember you, and again, then your community will grow. So let's break that down. Small promises lead to big promises. When you commit to yourself and others, and you show up, whether you feel like it or not, and you keep your commitments, your confidence is going to grow. It's okay to dream big and have big goals like life vision that is crucial to have for success to move the needle. We just want to break those up into present goals now, and we want to break those goals into actionable steps. That way we can achieve success. And as we accomplish the actionable goals, actionable steps, the goals will be accomplished and the vision will be accomplished. Community. As we begin to grow and move our needle, we want to bring a group with us. We want to be kind. We want to make people feel good. We want people to be confident as well. And as that goes on, and as we are seen as a leader, our confidence will grow as we're helping people through life to find success. Like I mentioned, I used to lie to myself on a daily basis, the people around me, and my confidence dwindled. I wasn't moving the needle forward. In fact, I would consider myself going backwards. I now live a life that I'm extremely proud about and extremely confident about, and you're 100% capable of that too. Again, we made this podcast name Self-Made Confidence for a reason. Confidence is created on a day-to-day basis. We are not born with it. It is based upon the commitments we make and following through. With that in mind, this podcast, if you found value in it, look at the list. Maybe there's another podcast that you find or will find value in. Go ahead and listen. And if there is anything I can do better, please let me know. Reach out to me at Braiden Belnap on social media with your takeaways, with the things I can do better, as I want to grow as well. With that in mind, you have a wonderful rest of your day. And again, thanks so much for showing